what's up guys? It's Morgan and Angie with The Shift, and today we are talking about how shame keeps you disconnected from your friends and your family. Generally, when we feel like we can't fully express ourselves, when we feel like we can't really be us around our friends and family, whatever we think the problem is, usually underneath that problem is actually shame. So for example, if you think, oh, I can't express my political values around my family because they're like a different, they have a different political view than I do. Really underneath that is that shame of I'm afraid that I'm going to be perceived as a bad person by these people. So, which again, this is pretty deep stuff. But when you start to realize that shame is underneath so much of your disconnection problems, you can actually start to make a lot of progress in connecting with those that you care about. So Angie, tell us, how is it that we can decide or decipher if what we're experiencing with our relationships is caused by shame?
Yeah, so let me give you an example. The other day, my husband Steve and I were talking, and he made some sort of comment about, well, we don't spend enough time together, enough quality time, some offhanded comment. And immediately I went to defensiveness. Okay. So if we are defensive about somebody's statement, whatever that is, our friends and family, uh, defensiveness is a big red flag that we're having a shame reaction, a shame response.
Yeah.
And for me, I had to look at that and say, okay, what am I making that mean? When he says, well, I need more time with you, more quality time. I'm making it mean that I'm a bad person. Something's wrong with me. I'm not prioritizing my friends and family, my life the way I should be. I'm selfish. Last week we talked about selfish. So that selfishness and that shame response kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah.
And so we'll know that we're in a shame reaction when we have that defensiveness, and that feeling of I am not enough. There's something wrong with me. I'm a bad person. That is a shame response.
Mm-hmm.
Did you want to say something, Morgan?
Yeah, I think another key symptom of a shame reaction is guilt.
Oh yeah.
If someone's to say something,
Cousins.
and like you said, yeah, it definitely came up in your example. But I know for me personally in my life, I don't get defensive so much. I kind of go to, oh my gosh, I'm terrible. Like, it's a very over emotional reaction sometimes,
Mm-hmm,
because
mm-hmm.
underneath I'm feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm a bad person, and now this person is seeing that I'm a bad person, and like that shame is really intense. um
Right, right.
so it's definitely I think those are two really good indicators that you're struggling with shame, because at the bottom of a lot of our problems is the belief that we're just not good enough, and that we never will be. And how
Right.
sad is that, to be running on that kind of, that's the foundation you're running on. That's hard. That's exhausting.
And then we have to wear a mask. And the mask is also an indication. So defensiveness, over the top, emotional reactions,
Hmm.
wearing a mask of, if I really let people knew who I was, what I thought and what I felt, that they wouldn't like and accept me. So there becomes that mask that we walk around, and that takes a lot of energy to maintain that mask.
Yeah.
So the tip is to know that humility and courage will go a long way when it comes to creating connection and sort of dumbing down this shame reaction. And so, what I mean by that is, what if you just could find the courage and be vulnerable and say something honestly to the person you're having the issue with, the family member you're having the issue with, such as, you know, honestly, like, I don't feel very good about myself right now. So you're admitting to the feelings of inadequacy or insecurity or not enoughness that's really going on. And actually, that's what I did with my husband. I said, whenever I hear you ask for more time, it's implying that I'm not giving you enough time. And I immediately go to shame. And that was hard for me to admit. But if we can do that, if we could admit what's really going on for us right there in that moment, what happens, it diffuses the situation. The other person, their guard comes down, and then we create that connection that we're so wanting, truly.
Yeah. I think that's a beautiful example. And because it's true, it's like, we can argue all day long about who's right, but when it comes down to it, we all just have our different wounds, and our wounds are bumping up against each other.
Right.
It hurts and we're all getting triggered, but if we can get to the underneath, it creates more compassion. And then
Self-compassion, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Which creates a lot of connection and healing. So yeah, so it might be hard, but if you start looking for that, opportunity to be more vulnerable and be more honest about things, who
Mhm.
knows what could come of it. It may really help improve the situation. And the truth is, you will never be perfect. And sometimes we think we're not allowed to be loved or lovable or acceptable until we're perfect, but you'll never be perfect. And in a way, that can be frustrating, and in a way, it can be freeing, because if you
Mhm.
can never be perfect, then you're either lovable now or you're never lovable. And I choose to believe you're lovable now.
Right.
And if you can start to build on that foundation instead of this foundation of shame, I'm not good enough, then imagine how much different your life would be.
True.
Incredibly different.
And shame and perfectionism go so hand in hand, don't they?
Oh yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I'll just add too that the concept of a perfect person doesn't even make sense to me, because
Mhm.
like so much of what makes us human is our opinions, and opinions aren't necessarily right or wrong. So how could a perfect person have an opinion?
Right.
Like, I don't
Right.
even know. Like, and then are you perfect because you never get angry? Like, because anger is a protection. Anger is I'm empowering myself to stand up for me. And so even like when you start to really define what a perfect person would be, that it falls apart really fast.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel, because we post awesome content like this every single week. This has been Morgan and Angie with The Shift. We so look forward to seeing you guys in our next video. Bye.
Bye.